Moves forward now. They're in the gate. And they're off. A step slow away was Stellar Sunrise, and jinking away to his left as the gates opened, Arjac from stall number 7. Early speed is being put up by the favourite Goldwork, who's been taken on early by Arjac, in between horses Mission Classified. Very keen on the heels of the leaders. Alvin racing towards the near side. He's being joined at the back of the pack by Orange Emperor and the slow starting Stellar Sunrise. Making the run down towards the final 3.5 furlongs. A Mission Classified with the big white blaze has just got the lead. On the near side is Arjac racing in second. Goldwork over on the far side is close up in third. Still keen through halfway was Alvin racing on the far right as we look down the track. Stellar Sunrise tries to pick up over on the far left, and also at the back of the field is Orange Emperor. There's only a furlong and a half to go, and now Mission Classified is being driven along, and it is Goldwork who now pounces and takes the lead. Stellar Sunrise continues to pick up over on the far side, but it's Charlie Bishop and Goldwork having the lead by a length and a half inside the final 100 yards, and just being pushed out to win. It is Goldwork in front. Goldwork beats Stellar Sunrise. A long break in the end back to Mission Classified. In third and in fourth came Orange Emperor.
Despite sweating up in the sunshine, Goldwork wins second time of asking, does so in pretty emphatic fashion, really. Charlie Bishop riding for Eve Johnson Horton, 13-8 favourite, and very well supported beforehand. Owned by the Owen Syndicates and bred by the...
They're in the gate. And they're off. They have a journey of 2 miles ahead of them. In the Racing to School reaches 250,000 a handicap, and they're very closely bunched indeed as they go into the first turn. Trapped out quite wide is Bashful Boy, who's been ridden to try and get an early position but can't go the early pace, and it's now been put up by Wonder as they make the run through the intersection of the courses, with Trooper Bisdee, who was on the inside rail around that turn but now will be a little bit wider. And pulling up at the back of the field is Al-Muhit. Al-Muhit has been pulled up at the back of the field at the end of the first 2 furlongs. So Al-Muhit out of the race. Trooper Bisdee leads by a neck to the inside rail. It's Mr. Hampstead pushing up now into second. Diamond Bay is in third, and Wonder racing in fourth. Then Contacto, the very pale colours, is in 5th position. On the inside, Vino Vitrix is racing in 6th. Pushing up then towards that one's outside is Manxman as they take the turn at Oak Tree Corner. As they do so, Tritonic is at the back of the field. King's Reign is last but 1. Agaggio is last but 2, and just ahead of that one is Bashful Boy. So it is Trooper Bisdee who takes them now on the rise towards the far side of the course. Out in front now by nearly 2 lengths to Mr. Hampstead, who races in second, and Diamond Bay is in third. Wonder is in 4th position. Then Contacto is racing in 5th as now they tack across under the tree line, racing downhill at this point, and they're now going through the halfway point on towards the final mile. It's Trooper Bisdee and Luke Morris out in front to Mr. Hampstead and David Egan right on the rail, racing in second. A dispute for third between Diamond Bay on the rail. A little bit wider is Wonder. Then Contacto and Vino Vitrix, followed by Bashful Boy. After Bashful Boy is Manxman, and then Agaggio and Tritonic, and the back marker is King's Reign. And now they climb, and they're about to climb now on towards the final 6.5 furlongs. The leader is still Trooper Bisdee as they go towards the final 3/4 of a mile and the turn right at the top of the hill. Trooper Bisdee out in front as they go now towards that turn. Mr. Hampstead racing in second. Nearly 2 lengths away, Diamond Bay is in a joint third with Wonder towards the inside rail. Then Vino Vitrix, and he's being followed by Contacto as now they begin to freewheel down the hill. The stripes of Manxman tries to make ground. Bashful Boy is ridden along. Agaggio towards the outside, and wider still is Tritonic, and outpaced at the back of the field is King's Reign. Now they've raced into the home straight Popera, and they've got 3.5 furlongs to go. The leading duo are kicking on. It's Trooper Bisdee to the rail. Towards the outside is Mr. Hampstead. Contacto has now stayed on into third. Vino Vitrix and Wonder. They're then being followed by Agaggio towards the outside of Manxman, and they're racing now on towards towards the final quarter of a mile, and it is still Trooper Bisbee. Trooper Bisbee towards the rail, towards the outside, Mr. Hampstead, still the first two. Manxman now begins to roll into third. Vino Victrix in fourth. Agaggio down the wide outside, and Contacto is next, deep inside the final furlong. Mr. Hampstead with Manxman now towards the near side, begin to stay on strongly. Another 100 yards to go. Mr. Hampstead and Manxman racing up towards the line. Manxman up in time. Manxman beats Mr. Hampstead. Tight third, Agaggio, Contacto, Mr. Bisbee, and then Vino Victrix.
This race is always going to require surplus stamina, and indeed Manxman has that in bucket loads, doesn't he? Just getting up to deny Mr. Hampstead on the far side. The front two in the markets have dominated here. Fairly slow motion stuff at the finish, but we know that Manxman stays
forward, completes the line. They're in the gate, and they're off. The British Stallion Stud's EBF Fillies handicap is run over 1.5 miles, and as they make the climb up the hill, it is Umbria who will take the early lead. Overture to the inside racers in second position, and then around the outside into third goes Santorini Star, and now she's taken second place as Overture on the inside rail is taken back. PK is racing just in behind Bisset, and then on the inside rail Orchard Keeper in advance of Merry Bella. Next is Loving Luck, who races towards the tail of the field with Bass Blur, and detached by a couple of lengths is Dancing with Myself, and now they're beginning to make the run down the hill, and now about to go under the tree line with Umbria and George Downing with the overall lead. To Santorini Star and Kieran Fallon racing in second. Overture quite keen for Luke Morris in third position, and then the Irish Raider Bisset is in fourth in the hands of William Buick. Next is Orchard Keeper racing alongside PK and Merry Bella. Next is Bass Blur, who races now just in front of Loving Luck, and still at the back of the field is Dancing with Myself. They've gone through the intersection of the courses, and now they begin to climb. Inside the final 7 furlongs, and Umbria takes them up the hill and on towards halfway to Santorini Star, who races in second, and Overture is in third. In fourth is Bisset, and then towards the inside rail is Orchard Keeper as they now prepare to make the turn at the top of the hill. And Umbria now has a lead of 2 lengths as they take that turn. Umbria out in front to Santorini Star in second, Overture and then Bisset, followed by PK and Orchard Keeper towards the rail. Then Merry Bella, and then against the rail is Bass Blur, Loving Luck, and still Dancing with Myself is 10th and last, and now they begin to quicken as they make the run down towards the final 3 furlongs. Umbria's lead is about 1.5 lengths over Santorini Star in second. William Buick is urging Bisset to get closer now. The horse with the noseband into third and is beginning to make ground on the leading duo. Just in behind them is Orchard Keeper and Overture towards the far side. PK switches out a little bit wider, and now they're racing on towards the final 1.5 furlongs. Santorini Star just noses into the lead. Santorini Star to Umbria. Bisset down the outside. Merry Bella also wide, is picking up late. Next is Orchard Keeper, but it's Santorini Star and Kieran Fallon who've got the lead by over 2 lengths to Bisset in second, and then Merry Bella, but it is Santorini Star. Back-to-back wins for Santorini Star. Bisset just got second, Merry Bella, and then from a long way back, Bass Blur.
Santorini Star continues her surge up the ranks and wins well off the bridle from some way out, but kept on finding and seized off Bisset. Back in second. In third was Meribella. The form looks strong. Those prominents in the markets have come to the fore, but in the end it was a pretty emphatic and decisive victory from...
And they're off. For the Bet Goodwin Festival Stakes listed, they race over 1.25 miles. Silver Knot was away alertly, but doesn't press the issue, and it will be Peaceman who has now claimed the early lead, to Silver Knot racing almost alongside in second. And then Exoplanet is in third, and Jeff Coons racing in fourth position. In fifth, as they race through the first 1.5 furlongs, is Liberty Lane, followed by Savvy Victory, and then Maidan, then the Grey Cash, held up at the back of the field together with Sabuska. They've completed the first quarter of a mile, and Peaceman and Robert Havlin have an advantage of about a neck or so to Silver Knot and William Buick racing in second as they go through the intersection of the courses. Exoplanet is keen, racing in third for Holly Doyle, up on the outside of Jeff Koons with Falla Guggenheim, and now Jeff Koons has taken third. Exoplanet now back to fourth. Racing in fifth is Liberty Lane. Then there's a break of 2 lengths to Savvy Victory. After Savvy Victory, Maidan around the outside. Cash is last but one, and Sabuska still at the back of the field. They race downhill and on towards halfway in the Festival Stakes, and it's Peaceman who has got the lead over Silver Knot racing in second. Closing up, Jeff Koons in third. Exoplanet on that one's outside. Then beginning to make a move out a little bit wider is Liberty Lane, followed into the race by Savvy Victory. Maidan, Sabuska towards the wide outside. Cash is sticking towards the inside rail. 2.5 furlongs to go. Silver Knot now being ridden by William Buick to try and come alongside Peaceman. Now down the wide outside, Liberty Lane delivering a potent challenge. Maidan from some way back is staying on together with Jeff Koons and also the grey Cash, racing now down towards the final furlong, and it's Liberty Lane and Maidan down the wide outside. Silver Knot with a lot to do now on the inner. Inside the final half furlong, Liberty Lane and Maidan, these the first two, racing up towards the line. Liberty Lane holding on. Liberty Lane takes the Festival Stakes over Maidan in second, Silver Knot in third, Cash in fourth, and in fifth, Peaceman.
A thrilling finish to the feature sees Liberty Lane just hold off Maidan. They got pretty close at the line, about a neck in it, but Liberty Lane stuck his one out and sees off Maidan back in second. A fair break back to the third place horse, who was Silver Knot. No gold medal for him today.
In the gate. And they're off. 7 furlongs ahead of them in the Bet Goodwin Best Odds Guaranteed handicap, and through the very early stages in the centre, Great Acclaim goes forward. So too does Capote's Dream, who will very shortly have the inside rail. With those is Diamond on the Hill, and then trying to get in is Rey de la Battaglia. Drop right out the back of the field, Dream of Mischief, who is slightly hampered at the break. They go into the downhill turn, and the leader is Capote's Dream. Goes on now by a length and a half, giving chase in second is Diamond on the Hill. Then towards the inside, Mafnood is racing in third. Then there's a break of about 2.5 lengths to Rey de la Battaglia, who sent in chase in fourth position. In fifth, Havana Pusey. And then towards the outside, Great Acclaim, who has been shuffled back. Apotheosis is next to the field, followed by Mr. Bluebird, and still last is Dream of Mischief. Down now towards the cutaway, just over 2.5 furlongs to go. Capote's Dream still has the lead, travelling powerfully. Diamond on the Hill in second and now takes the lead. Diamond on the Hill has gone on. Havana Pusey is now coming out of the pack to chase in second. Apotheosis with a high head carriage is staying on, so too Great Acclaim down the outside, racing towards the final half furlong. Havana Pusey now takes the lead, goes on by 2 lengths and begins to pull clear on the run to the line. Havana Pusey wins, Diamond on the Hill in second, Apotheosis in third, and Great Acclaim in fourth.
A first win over 7 furlongs for Havana Pusey. This no doubt opens plenty more windows and doors for this mare going forward. 9-4 favourite, wins Ross Orion, steering for trainer John Gallagher. And to be fair, this is not a race that panned out how we expected in any way, shape or form, particularly pace-wise.
They're in the gate. And they're off. And they're coming together towards the inside as Sky Advocate just jinked out away to his left, leaving the stalls, gave a broadside to Wiltshire Lad, although Wiltshire Lad still is out, showing lots of speed, and indeed has got the overall lead to Bint Jeddah, who races in second. Sky Advocate now is very keen with Transparent on that one's outside as they go over the intersection. San Juanito is next alongside Arctic Grey, and then Atherstone Warrior, and at the back of the field is Fort George as they go into the turn. So racing on now towards the halfway point, and it's Wiltshire Lad who has got the lead. Free running around the outside, Transparent in a very close second. Bint Jeddah in the pocket against the rail is in third. On the outside is Sky Advocate. They're then being followed by San Juanito and Arctic Grey, and then there's a break back to Atherstone Warrior, and Jamie Spencer is all over Fort George, urging him to go and pick up the bit. He's trailing them at the moment and struggling. struggling, racing down inside the final three. And on the outside, Transparent has now just put his white blaze in front to Wiltshire Lad, who's up against the rail. Ridden along now is Bint Jeddah in third. Sky Advocate is in fourth position. Then San Juanito on the outside. Sticking to the inner is Arctic Grey. A furlong and a half to go. It's Transparent by about a neck to Wiltshire Lad over on the far side rail. Now, finally, on the outside, Fort George is beginning to pick them up. He's kicked in the turbo inside the final half furlong. The lead now is with Arctic Grey. The challenge on the outside, Fort George. He left it too late. He didn't get there. Arctic Grey repelled in the end, Fort George, and then late game from Atherstone Warrior.
Well, it was too late. I don't think there's anything Spencer could do about it. I mean, the horse was just off it, way out, and he has rattled on, sure, but too much ground to make up, I'm afraid, and he couldn't do it. Fort George not helped himself early there, and
the gate. And they're off. And they've broken a very good line. MC11 down the centre of the track was away alertly, and so too Michaela's Boy. Also showing speed is Twilight Fun, and Twilight Fun will lead at the end of the first furlong. Faustus and Maclevin in second and third. Then Cinque Verde, the white colours towards the near side, with Miss Show Off just stalking the pace. This one together with Kiss and Run. Then over on the far side, Almaty Star with Enchanting at the moment, held up of that far side group. Alcazan at the moment is the back marker, and also Moulin Bouge is towards the rear of the field together with Marching Mac. At the moment, being ridden along is Rocking Ends, trying to find a seam, but it is still Twilight Fun in the centre with Michaela's Boy. These are now the first two. Almaty Star is staying on. Enchanting right over on the far side, coming through now to take the lead. It is Enchanting and Holly Doyle who have now gone on to Cinque Verde, staying on into second, Michaela's Boy, but Enchanting has routed the field. Enchanting wins tight second between Cinque Verde and Michaela's Boy. Almaty Star and Nevanera was Rocking Ends.
Enchanting has bolted up in the last of Goodwood. Holly Doyle for Andrew Balding. Over on the far side from stall 5 has won comfortably. Clear Daylight in behind. It's quite tight for the miners. It looks like Cinque Verde has grabbed